Hey, what's up everybody? Lawler here. Today is going to be me answering you guys, going through the comments and kind of answering any questions that I deem ones that are good for open conversation. But before we do that, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up as well as hit subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you guys want to support me further, easiest way to do so, all the links that you guys see rotating over here can be found in the description down below. Make sure you guys go give those a like and follow as well. So today's video, kind of like we've done in the past, we're just going to be going through a bunch of the different comments, kind of answering questions. But before I do that, on my latest video, I did make a couple lapses in the information and have clarified those as the top comment, the big ones. The first thing is the RLCS teams are already in the main event for the open qualifiers. They automatically qualify to that like top 32, top 16 area. That's just me being caught up with the fact that there's 4 days and trying to figure out how the teams work. That's just lapse in judgment. As for the other one, I definitely overlapped the grid and the field. Simply put, grid is a weekly league for RLCS and RLRS teams, $10,000, while the field is essentially a 6-man's monthly event where there's 3 divisions. The better you are, the higher division. Super simple. Again, you can find those videos in previous where I explain those in detail. So Shredded Shrine says, let me propose something. What if right before the World Championship they had a tournament for all the teams that just barely didn't make it, like how CSGO does it? Essentially, this is kind of what the grid is. It basically takes all the teams that didn't make it from the regional events based upon point accumulation. It gives them over a 9-week period of time to accumulate points as a last-ditch effort. Even though it's not a dedicated tournament for a wildcard bid, it's essentially the same thing. So it's kind of like a separate tournament. They just choose to do it over weeks of tournament play rather than just one tournament all said and done. I do agree having wildcard bids is why I'm so excited about it. Is a super cool thing. Jackifer asked, bro, I completely forgot about Bluey. I can't believe he's on the lower end of the RLRS. He used to be one of the best players in RLCS. What happened? Without getting into too much detail, Bluey has been known for being slightly toxic, where he has this stigma around him that basically states that he's terrible to his teammates. When he was younger, when he came in, he was pretty notorious for blaming his teammates for mistakes and putting the blame on them, even quoting him and saying that you're not good enough to play with me and some other things. And when you're young, you say a lot of dumb stuff and you don't realize that, yes, even though you are talented, you still got to be a good teammate. And I think he's now kind of in the results of those consequences where, because of the things he said and did when he was younger, is affecting his capabilities to be at the top. When he came in with Barcelona, very talented player, showed how talented he could be, even won MVP possibly that season, if I remember correctly. So Bluey does still have plenty of talent. But the issue is people don't want to team with him because of the way he acts. This is also the same stigma that I think Lethmir received at one point. Whether it is here or there is not the point, but sometimes that happens where players just don't want to take the time or give you the time of day because of the way that you've treated people in the past. Scar asks, where can I check up on how RLCS is going and how teams are doing in the terms of qualification? The easiest way to do it is if you go to battlefy.com, you can then search RLCS, and it should allow you to then go into the specifics, break it down. You click which qualifier you want. You can look at the bracket. All the details are there. The other option too is if you wait, you can go to Liquipedia, and Liquipedia will have the top performing rosters. But if you want to watch it from the very beginning, you can do so through Battlefy. But for a cleaner way to do it, always Liquipedia. Honk Honk, great name, says, I think at least 5 players have been in since season 1. No, it has been 3. It is Kronovi, Garrett G, and Cookser. Kronovi came in under iBuy Power Cosmic. Garrett was under Vex, which was also Turbulence, and a bunch of other names. They eventually became Orbit. And then Cookser, obviously, with Flipside Tactics. Turbo was not a player in the first season. He was a sub, and then ended up playing at the World Championship, but he did not originally start. He was a sub. And Rizzo didn't come in until he was with Take 3 in Season 2. I distinctly remember him in Low 5 hanging out with Chad and a bunch of others like Seismic White. At the Season 1 LAN. So the only 3 that have played since the very beginning of RLCS, Kronovi, Garrett, and Cookser. Those are the 3. Love the Whitechapel shirt. I have a good feeling you was a metalhead. Still am. Always have been. For those that stop by the streams, you guys should know by now, I'm a huge metalhead. Fun fact, I actually used to be a vocalist for a metal band when I was a little bit younger, probably like 18, 19, well over almost a decade ago. But yeah, metal has been in my blood for a very long time. Been a big metal fan for a very long time. But I also enjoy very different types of music. If anybody has listened to my Everything playlist, it'll go anywhere from Mariah Carey to Backstreet Boys to Whitechapel as shown and like Fit for an Autopsy to things like Polyphia and like math rock and jazz and classical, and I listen to just about everything but like country at this point is where I pretty much stand. When is this CJCJ show coming back? That is a great question, man. I have no idea. We were gonna do one on Tuesday, but I know Chrome is in the midst of moving, so that kind of delays things. It's just difficult with the off season, and now that all these players are kind of gearing up and getting ready to go for the next tournaments. And speaking of that, OCE in partnership with ESL is putting a $225,000 circuit system kind of to feed in. Until we get more details, I won't go into that, but everybody's going to be super busy coming up here, man. Who knows what's going to happen with that? Maybe I'll try to do a replacement. I'll figure something out. Where did Sosa come from? Comes from Corny Comedy. Easiest thing you can do is if you pull up Liquipedia, you can literally search the player's name. I got Sosa's here, and you can find out. You can literally go into his team history. He used to play on a team called Avidity. Avidity actually is now in partnership with, I think, an OCE team, but it used to be Avidity, then linked up. He's gone through a bunch of other things. You can also click on all of his tournament results, and anything on the left-hand side is his team. So he played for a team called SUP, played for a team called not RLRS. That's probably the most recent one in the spring series. Played for Defiant. Has gone through a bunch of different names. Easiest way to answer it is he was an RLRS bubble scene player. Really talented in six-mans. Just a player that, through grinding, has basically found his spot moving forward. Do you think and know that some of the unsigned rosters will be getting picked up and who won't be getting signed just yet? Yeah. There's a lot of rosters that are going to be getting picked up. Ones that I can't obviously talk about yet. There's also a bunch that have yet to be signed and won't be signed due to kind of the way that contract negotiations are going. For anybody who follows the Counter-Strike scene, you guys should recognize this, that because there is so many more teams that can compete on the RLCS stage, and you're talking 32 as compared to 10 like it was, that basically adds so much more value to a lot of these teams that can convincingly and consistently stay towards the top 16. So you are going to start to see bigger organizations kind of expand. You're also going to see a lot of B tier and C tier organizations come in and kind of take the leftover fruit from there because it's a small investment, which overall is going to make more people able to dedicate full time to the game, which will make the scene better overall. So yeah, 100% you're going to see a lot more teams getting picked up here. Hey Lawler, I have a question. I'm having trouble finding dates and times for tournaments in RLCS. Could you make a video showing where to get information on such things? Thanks, bro. Yeah. Super TLDR, though, the best thing you can do is two places. The first one is always Liquipedia. If you literally open up a Google tab, if I type Liquipedia, it pops up immediately. But the Rocket League Liquipedia is your best friend. It has everything you need to know about upcoming events, when they're finished, when they're going to start. You can look up players, teams, tournaments, statistics, everything you need to know. The other one, if you pull up Reddit and go to Rocket League Esports on the subreddit, everything you need to know is on the right-hand side in the tabs, as well as what's coming up, as well as recently viewed links. But the big ones are the official links, as well as like any upcoming tournaments will usually show in there as well. But quite honestly, man, Liquipedia. Liquipedia is your one-stop shop for literally everything you do. Or you can come to this channel or come ask me on Twitch. Literally use me as a resource, but Liquipedia should be the first place you look and literally just search it. It'll probably pop up. Hex says, hey Lawler, when are we getting a big roster change video? 2 days ago. Sometimes happy little accidents, man. I try to stay on top of things, but not always the easiest. There's a lot going on. Serious question from a casual observer. What are the weaknesses of NRG? I keep hearing that either Justin or Squishy is the best player in the game. Not the truth. And if both of them are in that conversation, then how can they be stopped? So I can tell you right now, the issue with hearing a player being the best player in the game, one thing, you can ask literally any pro. Never once have they said Squishy is the best player in the game. Ever. Squishy has a very large fan base. A lot of people believe that Squishy is the best, but he most definitely is not, nor ever has been. Regarded as a very mechanical player, just like Justin, but I can tell you right now, Squishy has never been considered the best player in the game by people at the kind of high level, the analysts, the pros that play against him. He's never been considered one of the best. But people with big fan bases consider that. At the same time, to a casual person that watches NRG's been absolutely dominating everything, but to a trained eye like myself, NRG still makes a lot of mistakes. They still provide a lot of space to other teams. That is partially due to the product of their situation or their environment. Prime example against Rogue. Rogue likes to play super fast, super aggressive. NRG backs off, goes for 50s, lets challenges happen. The difficulty of doing that is it leaves you susceptible to things on defense where you can get demoed or you can get your boost denied. Which, if not handled appropriately, will lead to a lot of mistakes. Nobody is perfect. There's going to be times where NRG does not play to the level that we expect them to play every single time. And those are the times where the teams have to be on. So it is a level of consistency. NRG puts themselves in some scenarios where they have to play perfect in order to find victory. But I will tell you right now, NRG is a very talented roster right now, and they do have some weaknesses. Their biggest weakness is the fact that they are new together. They're still trying to figure things out, and it hasn't kind of really been fine-tuned yet. So NRG is a team, realistically speaking, that will get better as time progresses. They're going to be a tough one to beat, man, but the human element will always be a factor. People will make mistakes. Rocket League is very punishing for that reason. The only other thing I could probably think of is Justin is a pretty emotional player. If Justin's down on himself and not vibing, they are missing out on a very big part and big role in their team with Justin kind of not feeling it. So again, consistency, man. Consistency and confidence. Alrighty, guys, that is going to wrap it up. Again, I thank you for all the comments, the likes, and everything else. If you guys do have additional ones, make sure you guys drop those down below, and I'll do my best to get back to them. And we'll continue to try to do these kind of Q&A videos moving forward. Again, I need a title for this. I always find it's super awkward trying to be like, oh, answering your questions. Other than that, make sure to like the video as well as hit subscribe and turn on notifications. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.